Have you ever really wondered what goes on behind the scenes in Photoshop? Hey guys, it's Jake. Welcome back to part 2 of what do I do first in image processing. In this video, I'm just going to put my photos through Photoshop. We'll do the fine tuning. We'll just make the images look that little bit more better. We did put our photos in Lightroom. We did the raw editing and we exported it out as a TIFF so we can put it into Photoshop and just do the fine tuning. But yeah, I'm not going to be doing much in this video. I'm just going to show you really what I do. But yeah, I'll show you what I mean anyway. Alright guys, I've got my image here. The image over here, just edited in Lightroom. Here it is here. Full screen, F to full screen. There's not a lot I'm going to do to this image. All I want to really do is just where the tree line of this is, I'm just going to create a curves adjustment layer. Okay, I basically just put the photo straight into Photoshop and get straight into it. I don't muck around, I don't need to. I just bring it up just like that. Command I to invert that. B for the brush tool. Alright, just like that. There's before and after. That's it. I'll create a hue saturation layer. All I want to do here, the greens in the trees, I just want to make them a little bit more green. So Command I to invert that again. And I'll just make my brush a little bit smaller. Zoom in. So see what we're doing. And just make that a little bit more green. Just like that. Gets rid of a little bit of the redness just out of the tree, and the purple behind the tree is just there. Enhances it a little bit. Okay. That's what I'm going to do with that. Right, let's see the before and after with that. It's very subtle. I don't know if you guys can see that. If I zoom in, you guys see that. Before, after. It's very subtle, but it makes a bit of a difference. Okay, now lastly, this is all I want to do. There's not a lot I wanted to do with this image in Photoshop. Most of it I did in Lightroom, because as I do, I try and take my images to the best I can to limit time in Photoshop. But yeah, alright, I'm going to go up to filter up the top, down to other, high pass. And the way I do my high pass filters, I zoom into the image, and if you can see that there's like a white sort of halo around like the tree line here, you try and put your radius. If I bring my radius up, see that? You don't want it like that. Otherwise, if I click OK and I put my blending mode to overlay, maybe not so much of this image. Yep, see over in the darkness here, over where it's more dark, you can kind of see the halo a bit. And you don't want that. So if I turn that off, see it? You can just see it, and some images it looks really bad. This image is not too bad, but you want to try and avoid that. So Shift Option Command E to create a stamp visible layer, so I can put my high pass filter on. Alright, I go to Filter, High Pass. Alright, now I'll change my radius. I'll put it down, so the lower my radius goes, the better it looks for the image. So this image, I find 0.6 works. What you're trying to do is just so you can see the trees. Not much haloing, but you just try so you can see the trees and make out the images. The higher you go, as I said, it creates a halo, and too low does too little of an effect. Right, okay, that'll vary for every image, so don't copy me with 0.6. Right, change your blending mode to overlay, and if you turn that on and off, you're not going to see much of a difference. But having a low radius, just duplicate it a couple of times, 3 times, that'll do. Command G, group them, and if I turn that on and off, that makes a hell of a difference. but it's a little bit too much, so I'll bring my opacity down to about 84. And what I'm going to do, because I don't want it visible everywhere, so I'll create a layer mask on that. I'll click backslash, I'll click that, and then I can paint with black on my layer mask, and that allows me just to be able to see where I'm painting. But the reason I'm painting black on the layer mask, because I don't want it visible everywhere. I don't want it visible in the sky. I don't want to sharpen the sky. If I wanted to sharpen the sky, I'd use another technique, but I'm not doing that in this image. Doesn't need to be done. But all I'm doing is just taking it out of the sky, just so there's no noise. Because sharpening an image, it creates a little bit of noise, and I don't want that in this image. I want it as sharp as possible without any sharpening in unneeded areas. So just like that. That's all I need. Make sure it's all up here. And I might even, in the darker spots down here, also do it. Just like that. This is where I don't need it. Too much there. No, too much again. I'll take my flow down to 10%. Yeah, that'll do that. Put the same on the other side, just like that. Okay, now that's where I want my sharpening to be. And for this image, that's pretty much all I do. I don't do a hell of a lot in Photoshop, and I don't do too little. I just do it just to make my images look nice, and that's what I've done. One last thing, I might just bring up the saturation just a little bit, just to finish it off. Not too much. Bring it +4. That'll do. And just does a slight little subtle adjustment. Right, full screen that. And if I this is the before and after. What's the before? What's the after? So that's what I mean, guys. I didn't do a hell of a lot. I just enhanced the look of the trees in the background there, and just sharpened it up a little bit, and that's pretty much it. Full screen that right up. Don't want to open anything. And that's it, guys. Right. And lastly, I just want to show you guys how I export my images. Now I'll export, so I'll go up to File, Save As. Right, go to YouTube. Load it first in Lightroom Part 1. This is for Part 2, but I'll just place the image in Part 1, sorry. I'll put it in Master, because as I said in Part 1, I have Camera for straight out of camera. I have Master for the final image, Select for Lightroom, Output for the Internet, and Low Res for the Internet again if it needs to be a lower res. So I'll place it in Master, and I'll go Save, and I'm saving it as a TIFF, so that's just how I save all my images, and save that. Okay, including layers. Always keep your layers, so you can come back later if you need to, and you can re-edit the image or fix it up if you need to. Okay, and yeah. Now guys, that's pretty much all I do. What did we do? We put our photo, in Photoshop, we fine-tuned it, we just adjusted the colours a little bit, we put up the brightness up in the trees just here, if you can see that. We did a bit of sharpening. That's pretty much all we did. But yeah, you probably noticed that my office looks a little bit different to the Part 1, but well, it does, because I moved it all around and changed things and that, but this is how it's going to be for a while. So yeah, so I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.